Hello. Hi guys. How are you? How are you guys? Am I audible as well as visible? Please tell me, guys. Am I audible as well as visible? Am I audible as well as visible? This is a live video, guys. This is a live video. In this video, we are going to study miscellaneous equation. Till now, we have talked about, if you have seen our videos, we have talked about the algebraic identities. We have talked briefly about polynomials, and we have talked about factorization. But it all culminates to basically solving equations. Solving equations and mathematics are practically synonymous. At least they are considered synonymous, right? Hi. So let's go about it. First of all, let me talk about myself. My name is Prashant Jain, All India rank 42, JEE 2008, BTech, IIT Bombay, INCHO Gold Medalist, author of 19 plus books, including the best-selling IOQM book, right? If you want to study live from us with two-way interaction, you can definitely go for this course. This is a Ramanujan course, IOQM for IOQM 2025. If you have not done good in IOQM 2024 and you want to improve, or you have not given IOQM 2024 but you want to prepare fully for IOQM 2025, then this is the batch for you. It has online Zoom classes. It will be hosted on the Olympiad Gold. Test series will be online plus offline. If you have a center nearer to yourself, like if it is very near to you, then you can go to the Unacademy center. And how will you access that? You will be given a learner kit, one Unacademy t-shirt, printed study material plus ID card of that particular center. Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday 5 to 6:30 p.m. these classes are happening. So go buy this course, use the code PJLive. PJLive code is very, very important because with this code you will get discount, and then you can send me the screenshot at Prashant42 Jain. This is my Telegram username. You can send me here, right? Now, if you are in class 8th, 9th or 10th and you do not want to study for IOQM, then you can join our Centers Live program. Centers Live program is equally good. Unacademy's offline center educators will teach you through Zoom classes. So it is just like, so for example, if you are not in Kota, our fee at Kota center for foundation is 50,000. But if you want to access those classes, exact same classes, and you want to have everything that the learners who are attending in Kota center are getting, that is the learner kit, then you can again apply for the Olympiad course, right? Am I making sense? No. Olympiad plus subscription, you need to buy for 1 year, at least minimum 1 year subscription you need to buy, right? This is the fee for it, and you can apply PJLive code and send us the details, right? Perfect. So let's go. Now let's go. So first of all, you must have heard of these two words, identities and equation, right? Identities and equations. So let us distinguish between them. Let us distinguish between them, right? Let us distinguish between them. Correct? First, if I give you this expression, what do you call it? What do you call it? Is it an identity or an equation? What is it? This particular expression, a plus b whole square equals a square plus 2ab plus b square. What is it? Is it an equation or identity? Please tell me. The learners are saying that this is, sir, this is identity. Now, why they are saying that this is an identity? Because it is true for all the values of a and b. You can randomly choose any value of a or any value of b. So let's choose a equals 2, b equals 5, right? So my left hand side is 49. Let's talk about right hand side. A square is 2 square. 2 times 5 plus 25. So this gives me 4 plus 20 plus 25, right? So the basic identifier for identity is that identities are valid. Identities are valid for all values of A and B. They are not valid for some particular values of A and B. They are valid for all the values of A and B. That is how you distinguish between identity and equation. What is an equation? Equation is true for some values. Let me give you an example. Now let's take this case. A square plus B square equals A plus B whole square. Right? Let's talk about this. Now, this is an equation. This is equation. Some of the learners might think that this is wrong. This is actually wrong. I won't say this is wrong. If you are saying that this is an identity, this statement is wrong. This is not an identity. But does this mean that it is not an equation? No. Let's try to solve it. If you solve it, you get A square plus B square plus 2AB equals A square plus B square, right? If I expand this, I am getting this. Now let's cut these things and you have AB equals 0, which means either your A is 0 and B can be anything, or your B is 0 and your A can be anything. This is the only solution. So basically, in layman words, one of the A or B has to be 0. One of the A or B has to be 0. That is how it is going to be true. Getting my point? That is how it is going to be true. So guys, like we have changed the schedule of IOQM English live course. Every Monday now the lectures will be taken. Every Monday. Every Monday the live lectures will be taken. Getting my point? Every Monday. Right? So A square plus B square is equal to A plus B whole square. This is equation. A square plus B square, if you have solved it. So basically, now you are seeing one thing here. Equation has to be solved, and this is the conclusion of the equation. For what values of A and B, this equation holds true. So these two will be called solution of equation. Solution of equation. So this is the basic definition. Basic definition is that equation has some particular solutions and identity is true for all the solutions, for all the values. Getting my point? Am I making absolute sense? Am I making absolute sense? Please tell me, guys. Batao bhai. Is it okay now? Perfect. Perfect. Let me see your chats. The thing, just a second. Okay. Just a second. Yes. Correct? Okay, perfect. Let's go. So, you have understood the difference between equation and identity. Now, let's solve this question. Alright, let's solve this question. Find values of A and C so that given equation holds true for all values of x. All values of x. Right? This is what is given. Right? This is what is given for all values of x. For all values of x, this should be true, right? A minus 2 times x equals c minus 3. This is your equation. This is your equation. Right? What I'm trying to say, find values of a and c so that given equation holds true for all values of x. Right? Whatever be the value of x, this equation should satisfy it. Why you not started? Basically, Dolly, what we are trying to do in the recorded course, we are trying to complete basics of all the things. Geometry, then number theory, and then algebra. We are going to complete till 10th. And then quadratic equation, what we have in IOQM is of JEE level. So these chapters will be dealt later. Getting my point? I hope I am making sense, Dolly. Right? So, see, like if I see this now, let's try to focus on this. Let's try to focus on this now. The meaning of this particular sentence is that if I put x equals 1, it should hold true. If I put x equals 2, it should hold true, right? So let's try to solve these questions. Let's try to solve let's try to solve this equation. If I just simply subtract it, 2 times a minus 2 minus 1 times a minus 2 equals 0. So this gives me a minus 2 equals 0 or a equals 2, right? This gives me a equals 2. When I put a equals 2, I get c minus 3 equals 0 or c equals 3, right? Right? So these are my two values, a equals 2, c equals 3, right? In general, if I have a linear equals 0, usually what have you studied? That sir, x equals minus b by a. It is only valid when a is not equal to 0. So this is an identity. This is an identity. What do you mean by an identity? Identity is one particular expression which is true. Identity. Which is true for all values of x. It has to be valid for all values of x. So if I just put a equals b equals 0, just see 0x plus 0 equals 0. It is true for all x, right? For all x. Am I making sense here? Please note this down. This is very, very important point. Very important point. What do I mean by an identity? This is a very important point. Right? This is a very important point. Getting my point? Done, guys? Am I making sense? Perfect. Perfect. This is good. Now, let's talk about basic equation. Guys, you need to understand that either we can solve polynomial equation, So what is a typical polynomial equation look like? Eventually, it will be like this. Right? I'm just giving you an example. Now, if you are given this equation, find solution. What is the solution to this equation? And you need to understand, what does this say? This particular expression multiply by this particular expression, multiply by this particular expression, multiply by this particular expression equals 0. Now you are being asked, what is the solution to this equation? Right? What this means, what can be the possible values of x for which this entire expression is 0? Right? This is the ask. Now when I am talking about solution, it is assumed, please write it down, it is assumed that only real x is taken. This is assumed when we are talking about solution. Let me give you a very simple example of it. Right? See, one of your friend comes to you and is asking for a solution to his personal problem. Right? So you will give him a real solution, right? If he is your friend, you will not give him an imaginary solution. There is nothing called imaginary solution. Right? Am I making sense? So in real life also, we are expected to give real solutions to the problems which are posed to us. If your friend is asking you a question, you give them real solutions, not imaginary solution, right? So here also, you will assume that this expression cannot be 0 for any real x, right? Why, sir? Because this is perfect square. You are adding 1 to it. How can you add 1 to a perfect square and get 0? It is simply not possible for any real x. So your solution is that either x minus 2 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0, or x minus 4 equals 0. Right? Which eventually gives you the solution 2, 3, 4. Which eventually gives you the solution x equals 2, 3 and 4. Right? 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 Am I making sense, guys? Am I making sense? Am I making sense, guys? Yes, perfect. Now, just see the progression of this lecture. X minus 2, x minus 3, x minus 4. What is x? What is x? And I am not talking about your x. I am talking about the variable x. X is a variable. X can be anything. So let's assume that I put this equation. I am solving this equation. Let's talk about this now. Right? Let's talk about this. Equals 0. And I am saying that x is 2 to the power t. Find t. Find t. Right? This is the question. This is the question. Sir, I try hard to solve your book. Not able to solve. So how will you be able to solve it? It is not a self-explanatory book. It is an IOQM book. You have to study for IOQM and then you will be able to solve it. It is not something of foundation level or basic level or your school level. You need proper training first to do that book. And all the lectures are free of cost also available. And if you want to join any live course, you can do it. Now, Sid is saying 1, 2, 3. Shubh Kedia is saying 1, 2, 3. Girish Jain is saying 1, 2, 3. Now, if I would have given you like this, right? This is a polynomial equation, but this is not a polynomial equation. Do you know the name of this equation? Do you know the name of this equation? Do you know the name of this equation? Like sometimes it is called exponential equation, but largely these things are called transcendental equations. Transcendental equations. Right? Which are basically non-polynomial. Which are non-polynomial. But eventually you are solving it using the methods of polynomial. You are solving them using the methods of polynomial. Am I making absolute sense here? Right? What you are doing actually, this was not the question. This is the usual question. You have put 2 to the power t as x, and then you get this polynomial equation for which you know the solution. We have done this multiple times in this playlist. X equals 2, 4 and 8, and then you put the value of x again. These are the three solutions. And the way to solve exponential equation. So if you have 2 to the power x equals 2 to the power a, this simply implies x equals a. Please note it down if you did not know this. If you did not know this, please note it down if you did not know this. Right? So this is 2 to the power 1, 4 equals 2 to the power 2, 8 equals 2 to the power 3. If I simply, these are called bases, right? In exponents and radicals, you must have read these terminologies, right? This is base, this is exponent, right? So this base is same now. So I can say t equals 1 from here, t equals 2 from here, t equals 3 from here. So this is my eventual solution. This is my eventual solution. Am I making absolute sense, guys? Am I making absolute sense? Am I making absolute sense? Am I making absolute sense here? Please note it down and just write UDAN so that I can move on to the next question. Eventually, we are going to study miscellaneous equation, because miscellaneous equations are not some random equations. They are essentially equations reducible to polynomial equation using suitable substitution. We will use suitable substitution and solve the equation using polynomial methods. What are polynomial methods? Factorization. Right? 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 Essentially, we are going to do this. Chalo, let's move on to the next one. Majority of the learners are saying this thing that they have understood it. Right? Let's do this one. This is PJ exclusive. What do I mean by PJ exclusive? This is the question which is designed by me. Which is designed by me. Solve for x. Solve for x. Right? You need to solve this equation for x. 27 to the power x minus 13 into 9 to the power x plus. Just a second. into 3 to the power x plus 1 minus 27 equals 0. Right? Solve this equation. Now this is equation which like I have taken the motivation from a book called Pre-Lepco. Pre-Lepco is a very good book to start with to solve equations, different type of equations. This is exponential equation, but I am going to solve it using polynomial methods. Right? Let's see if you can do it. We need to use possible substitution here. (102) Now let's solve it. Sir, I can see 3 to the power x, 9 to the power x, 27 to the power x. So this is my silver lining. I am a sincere student. I have studied from the basic. I have good observation skills. Good observation skills are essential to problem solving. I can see here, this is 27 to the power x, which is actually 3 to the power x to the power 3. I can see 9 to the power x here, which is 3 to the power x to the power 2. Right? I can see 3 to the power x here also. But there is one here also, which is bothering me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write 27 to the power x here simply. 13 times 9 to the power x plus I am going to shift this one here. How do I shift it? 3 to the power x plus 1 is nothing but 3 to the power x into 3 to the power 1. So I am going to multiply 13 with 3, and that is how I get 3 to the power x, right? Now let me put 3 to the power x as t. If I do this, this becomes t cube minus 13 t square plus 39t minus 27. Now if you remember my earlier lectures, I have given you a method to solve this type of cubic equation through hit and trial. I am simply going to put 1, and if I see 1 minus 13 minus 12, minus 12 plus 39 is 27, 27 minus 27 is 0, which means 1 is a root. And then I told you a ninja technique. T square will definitely come. This is minus 13. Coefficient of t square is minus 13. You have already got minus 1 here. So minus 12t. And then simply plus 27. To manage your constant, minus 27. How do you get minus 27? When you multiply minus 1 with plus 27. Now, this can be done using simple splitting the middle term. I am writing it directly because we have invested sufficient amount of time in solving these type of equations. So what do I get? T is 1, 3 and 9. But what was my T? My T was 2 to the power s, 3 to the power x. 3 to the power 0 is 1, 3 to the power 1 is 3, 3 to the power 2 is this. So x is nothing but 0, 1 or 2. Am I making absolute sense here? Am I making absolute sense here? This is your problem. You are giving me answer 1, 3 and 9. 1, 3 and 9 are not the answer. You are asked x. You are giving me t. T is 1, 3, 9. Please note it down properly. This is miscellaneous equation. This is how you solve miscellaneous equation. This is nothing but miscellaneous equation. What are miscellaneous equation? Which you do not see in your routine problems. These are problems which are designed in such a manner that after a possible substitution like this, you will eventually get a polynomial equation. Getting my point? Please note it down. Please note it down, guys. Guys, please note it down. It totally depends on you how you want to proceed, right? See, the learner is saying that, sir, I could have easily done like this. T cube minus 27, right? This and this, and then minus 13, T minus 13t, T minus 3. So here I would have got 3t minus 3 here, t square plus 3t plus 9, and then here minus 13t, t minus 3. Then I could have taken my t minus 3 common, t square minus 13t and plus 3t is minus 10t plus 9. And then you could have factorized it like this. See, like solving equation, there is no unique method to solve a particular equation. There are n number of ways to solve a polynomial equation. You could have applied anything, right? Said this is what you wanted to say. This is something similar you wanted to say. Okay. Perfect. Now this is exponential equation. This is exponential equation. But let me give you another twist in it. Let me give you another twist in it. Right? Shall we? Let's give it. 9 to the power x. Solve for x. Minus 6 to the power x upon 2 times 6 to the power x minus 4 to the power x equals. Right? Let's solve it. I'm just making the question so that it all makes sense. Just a second. Let's solve for x. Solve for x. How do you solve it? How do you solve such an expression? See, in my classes you will find we'll always start with basic and eventually we'll go to a level which is actually IOQM 2 marker to start with. This is IOQM 2 marker. Like the new level of IOQM, right? IOQM used to be a very difficult examination, but this year, like, I don't know what has happened to MTI, but I think it is going to be of this level only. Right? Let's try to solve it. 9 to the power x minus 6 to the power x upon 2 into 6 to the power x minus 4 to the power x equals 45 by 56. This is a very, very difficult problem. In my opinion, this is a very, very difficult problem. In fact, based on the principle which we are going to study here, we are going to solve a RMO level problem. Just imagine the complexity we are going to deal in this particular lecture. Just a second, it should not be like this. I don't think your answer is correct. I don't think your answer is correct. But what you are saying is absolutely correct. What you are saying is absolutely correct. Sir, I can see here that 9 to the power x, let's solve it in a different ink. What is 9 to the power x? 9 to the power x is nothing but 3 to the power x whole square. What is 4 to the power x is nothing but 2 to the power x whole square. And what is 6 to the power x? These are the only exponents involved here, right? So let's assume it to be a square. Let's assume it to be b square. Then this becomes ab. Right? Let's solve it. Let's solve it. This becomes a square minus ab upon 2ab minus b square equals 45 by 56. Are we making absolute sense here? Please tell me. Please tell me. Now this is something called homogeneous expression. A square minus ab is homogeneous expression of degree 2. What is homogeneous expression? See, just see this expression. This is quadratic expression. Now this is linear into linear. This is also quadratic. So that is why I call it, in fact everybody call it, homogeneous expression of degree 2. Because every single term of this expression is of degree 2. Similarly, denominator is also of the same level. So in such questions, you can simply divide by b square, right, in numerator as well as denominator. Right? So if you do that, you get a by b whole square minus a by b upon 2a by b minus 1. Now this is looking very, very complicated unless You put A by B equals T, your favorite, T. So I am getting T square minus T upon 2T minus 1 equals 45 by 56. Now just simply cross multiply. Because you know how to solve a quadratic equation, isn't it, guys? Right? So I am getting 56T square minus 146T plus 45 equals 0. Now this is very, very complicated. It is a very, very complicated equation to solve, in my opinion. In my opinion, this is very, very difficult calculation to solve. But we will manage. We will try to manage somehow. Right? This is 146. This is 56. Right? This is 45. So 7 times 8 times 5 times 9. So I give 4 to this, right? 36. So I have remaining 2 here. 2 times 5, 10, 10, 70. This does not give me anything, right? 56 times 45. Yeah, this is the only thing which I have here, right? I have put in. So, but I can do something here. I think 56T square. So is it 4T minus 9, 14T minus 5. Is this correct? Is this correct? I think this factorization is very, very correct. This factorization is correct. Can you check the factorization? Can you check the factorization? Can you check the factorization? Is this factorization correct? That is why. Now you all must have understood this thing, why this is a 2-marker. Even after getting the answer, even after getting the quadratic equation, solving this quadratic equation is an effort in itself. It is an effort in itself. Right? Yes, this series is enough for IOQM 25. Right? 4T minus 9 times 14T minus 5. Tell me, guys. Yes, sir, this was very difficult. Now, if my 4T minus 9 equals 0, I get T equals 9 by 4. What was my T? A by B. That is 3 by 2 to the power x. This gives me x equals 2. This is one solution. If my 14T minus 5 equals 0, my T is 5 by 14, which is 3 by 2 to the power x. Right? There is a way to solve it. We will deal it in logarithms. We will deal it in logarithms. Right? Please, this is a super question, super problem, which includes such a difficult factorization also. It is a very, very difficult factorization in my opinion. It's a very difficult factorization in my opinion. Right? Right? This is the question. This is miscellaneous equation. Right? But we have got a very interesting type of problem here. Sir, can we solve homogeneous polynomial equation, homogeneous equation of some degree in multiple variable? This is a very simple problem, right? Right? This is I would say this is a curiosity which may be arising in your head, that can I solve all such type of problems? Is there a method to do these type of problems? Yes, there is a method. We are going to deal it in the next page. Please note it down, guys. Please note it down. Please note it down, guys. Done. Done. And if there is a way, you can clip this one. You can clip this problem. This is a very interesting problem and this was super. Right? And don't ask me in the comment section how do you did it. We have already dealt these type of quadratic equation. We have studied short ways to do it also. So my question is, can I solve all homogeneous equations? Right? Very simple problem. If I have this type of equation, let's assume I am going to study this. Right? To start with, because the algorithm is going to be the same. Right? This is the type of problem. My answer to you is yes. My answer to you is yes. We can always solve these type of problems provided we know how to convert them in polynomial. So step 1 is conversion in polynomial. What is step 1? Conversion in polynomial. How do you convert them? Please make sure that 0 is here. 0 should always be here. It is a must thing. Must condition. Conversion in polynomial. How do you convert it into a polynomial? Let's see. You divide the whole equation by y cube. Why y cube? Why can it not be x cube? It is just matter of preference. I prefer y, right? So, if you divide it by y cube, you get a times x by y whole cube, b times x by y whole square. You can check it. Please see to it. X by y and b. But now you would say, sir, how can you divide by a number which can be 0? Yes, you are correct in this observation. I cannot divide any expression with a variable which has possibility of becoming a 0. So we will deal with the case of 0 separately. If you see x equals y equals 0 is an obvious solution. Right? Now there is a term to it. Right? Obvious is too obvious, right? It is very simple English. So we have coined a new term for it. This will be called trivial solution. What do we call it? Trivial solution. Trivial means obvious. It is an obvious solution. X equals y equals 0 is a trivial solution, means obvious solution. Right? And then, now that y cannot be equal to 0 because we have dealt the case of x equals y equals 0 separately, this equation will make sense. And now what will I do? X by y equals t. And now this has become a simple cubic equation which I can solve. Isn't it, guys? Isn't it? I can solve it, guys. I can solve it. Right? I can solve it. Hello sir, got 23 in IOQM 2024, aiming for 50 to 60 plus in 2025. Any tips? The tips is complete the full course. Without structured preparation, it is not possible. For example, if I take the case of Debayu, like Debayu took 4 years to get 77. But he was in constant touch, he was in constant mentorship. He has done complete IOQM course first and then RMO, then INMO obviously. Right? Right, guys? Am I making sense? Perfect. Right? Let's do one problem of it. Let's do one problem of it. Right? Let's do a simple problem. Solve for relation between x and y. Solve for relation between x and y. Right? X cube minus 9x square y plus 26xy square minus 24y cube. Right? X equals 2y. Now this is one solution. So sir, what is the algorithm that you have told us? You have asked us to divide the equation by y cube. You have asked us to divide the equation by y cube, which we will do. And we will eventually put x by y equals t. Right? Now, I am taking the liberty to write it down directly after substitution. So, I am going to get t cube here, minus 9t square here, plus 26t here, minus 24. Now, are you getting this point? That eventually, after every type of substitution that I am going to study, eventually I am going to get a polynomial equation. And that is why study of polynomial is of utmost importance in IUQM preparation, for that matter, JEE preparation also. So let's factorize it. This is t minus 2, t minus 3, polynomial factorization. You should be very, very fast in. Just by looking at the coefficient, you should be able to factorize. You should be able to factorize. Right? So this is, what do I get here? T equals 2, 3 or 4. Right? These are my three solutions. But these are the solution for t. Actually, x by y equals t. So means x is either equals 2y, x is either equals 3y, x is either equals 4y. Right? Please note it down, guys. Please note it down. Please note it down, guys. right? Perfect. But sir, these are simply relations between x and y. We did not get any particular solution of x and y, right? Obviously, we did not get any particular solution of x and y. So let's try to find a way to do it. What if I am given extra equation? What if I am given this equation? Right? Solve these. What do I call them? Simultaneous equation. Simultaneous means which are happening together. Simultaneous. This is the word for it. Solve these simultaneous equations. Right? X plus y equals, just a second, 60 and x cube minus 9x square y plus 26 xy square minus 24 y cube. What do I mean by simultaneous equation? These two equations are holding true together. So whatever the solution of x and y is, you can put it here, right? Perfect, Sid. Lakshmi Jain. Lakshmi beta, you can follow my lecture of roadmap to IOQM 2025. I have already given roadmap to IOQM 2025. I have already given roadmap to IOQM 2025. Done. Yes, the roadmap is given there. Very good. Sir, I got your point. First of all, I will solve this. After solving this, I have these three as my solutions. Right? These three are my solutions. Now, let's put them. Now, if I put x equals 2y here, I will get 3y equals 60. And hence, my y equals 20. And since my x is twice of y, my x is 40. Right? Y equals, I think I'll get 15 here. X equals 45 here. X equals 12 here. Y, oh, sorry. Y equals 12 here. And x equals 48. Right? 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 Am I making sense, guys? Am I making sense? Am I making absolute sense here, guys? Please. So, you need an additional equation to come up to a final solutions. These are the final solutions. So, should we do one more problem of this? Should we do one more problem of this? Should we do one more problem like this? Should we do one more problem like this? And the most important thing is, will you be able to solve it? This is the most important problem, right? Will you be able to solve it? right? Perfect. Let's solve one more problem. I am going to give you a simple problem, but this has been asked earlier in one of the years in RMO, but it was very early, 1986 types, right? Solve for x and y, right? You have to solve for x and y, and I'm giving you the equations. X square plus 5xy plus 2y square equals 8, x square minus 7xy plus 19y square equals 30. Solve these two equations. Solve these equations. X square plus 5xy plus 2y square equals 8. X square minus 7xy plus 19y. Now these are not homogeneous equations. You do not have 0 here. Please note this down. You do not have 0 here. So you'll have to apply your mind to do it. You have to apply your mind to do it. You have to apply your mind. Please give me the final answer. Perfecto, perfecto, perfecto. X square plus 5xy plus 2y square equals 8. X square minus 7xy plus 19y square. See, basically you need 0, right, in the right hand side. How do you do it? How do you get? How do you convert? But see, at the end of the day, as a mathematician, you should think very positively about it. Why you should think very positively about it? Because there are only 2 variables and 2 equations. You should have the muscle power mental muscle power to solve such an equations. You should always feel very, very positive about it, right? So let's solve that. Can I say that x square plus 5xy plus 2y square upon 8 equals 1 equals x square minus 7xy plus 19y square upon 13? I can definitely say this. And now just remove this one, right? These are simultaneous equations. These are simultaneously true. This is equal to this. This is equal to this. This means this is equal to this, right? There's a term in mathematics to it. This is called transitivity. A equals B, B equals C implies A equals C. Transitivity. This is how transitivity works, right? This is how transitivity works, right? Now, I'll multiply 13 here. So I get 13x square plus 65xy plus 26y square. I'll multiply 8 here. 8x square minus 56xy plus, what is 19 times 8? Oh no, 152y square. So I get 5x square plus 111xy minus 116. Oh no. 121xy, 126y square. So this is x minus y times 5x plus 126 equals 0. So my one solution is that I have to put x equals y. My another solution is that I have to put 5x equals to minus 126y. This is brilliant. This is brilliant actually. Right? This is actually very, very brilliant. But I don't think this is a very easy calculation, but this is an easy calculation. If I put x equals y here, what am I getting? What am I getting? 8y squares equal 8. Right? This is what am I get? This is what I am getting. So my y equals plus minus 1, which essentially means my x is also plus minus 1. So 1 comma 1 and minus 1 comma minus 1 are two of my solutions. These are two of my solutions. Now, can you check for this also? Can you check for this also? Why am I speaking in English? Guys, this is IUQM English course. I don't think you people listen to my announcements. I announced it that this year I am going to teach live for English. SPS sir also took one of the lecture in English. You need to understand that we are investing for those learners who have been constantly asking for the English lectures in IUQM. But the English lectures have not been available till now. We are the first platform to introduce pure English lectures of IUQM. Right? Right? Now, let's try to solve this one. Let's try to solve this one. Now, this requires patience and some good level of manipulation. I have x square plus 5xy plus 2y square equals 8 and 5x plus 126y equals 0. Right? This is what I have. Right? Now, I'll multiply it with 25 so that I get 25x square here, 125xy here, plus 50y square here equals 200. Right? I have multiplied with 25. Now, my 5x is minus 126y. I am going to put it here. So, this becomes 126y whole square plus 125, not 125, 25y times 5x, which is essentially equal to minus 26y plus 50y square equals 200. Now, what I am going to do, I am going to take 126y common here. 126y common here. So, I get 126y here minus 25y here plus 50y square equals 200. So, this gives me 126y times 101y plus 50y square equals 100. This gives me 63, this gives me 25, this gives me 200, this gives me 100. Okay. Now, 63 times 101 is 63y square plus 25y square equals 100. So, I have y square equals 100 upon 6368. Right? Right? 6368. So, this is 1y. Right? Plus minus obviously. So, let's assume that this is equals to something. So, just put it here to get two more solutions. So, eventually we will have 4 solutions. We will have 4 solutions. Getting my point? We will have 4 solutions. Right? Right? 6388. Yes, my mistake. 6388. 6388. Only if I had 12 here, this would have become 6400. 100 would have gotten cancelled and y would have become 1 by 8. But such is life. You do not get everything. Thank you for appreciating my jacket. I wore it so that somebody can appreciate it. You are the first one to appreciate it. I have been wearing it for last 30 minutes, but you are the first one. I like it. Thank you. Right? So this gives me 4 solutions. Now, where do you find such type of problems? In my Pathfinder book, you get miscellaneous equations as last section of basics of algebra. Right? This is the last section. You can find AIME problems in my book, latest edition, and IOQM PYQs as well. There was one particular problem in pre-RMO 2017 which can be solved using directly these methods. Right? So did you understand today's lecture? Did you understand today's lecture, guys? Did you understand today's lecture? If you have understood it, please do leave the comment. Also, if you are seeing these lectures live, or sorry, if you are seeing these lectures recorded, please leave a comment. Please do leave a comment. This motivates us to keep these lectures going, because currently we are not getting so much live audience, but I understand your problem. You must be busy in your school exams, or you must be busy in something, because December is something which is like, it is very heavy in these schools. Like my son also has a UT. So I understand this point, but you need to see these lectures in recording. And that is why we are keeping basic things currently. From the month of March, April, we will be resuming our IOQM English course. Like the IOQM English course will go on for the coming weeks also, but the major topics of IOQM will be dealt from the month of April. So I hope I am making sense. I am making absolute sense to all of you. Keep enjoying these lectures. Do leave us the comment. Please do share it with all the relevant audience who have been asking for the IOQM English course. Let's crack it.